Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft, and it feels so good to be back. Now, it has been a little while, and the main reason for that, as most of you guys would know, I've been pretty sick for the last couple of days, and there's been good and bad for different reasons. Bad in that I haven't been able to do any casting. It was, of course, a throat infection, so naturally couldn't do a whole lot of talking. But on the upside, I have been able to watch an amazing amount of Starcraft in the last week to 10 days. So for those of you who have been living under a rock, there's been an incredible amount going on. Last week or 2 weeks, we've had the Home Story Cup, we've had MLG, we've had a stack of very awesome StarCraft. So super excited to bring you some games, and I am going to cast just a swath of games across a number of those tournaments. So here to kick things off on Overgrowth is our red Terran in the bottom left hand corner. It's going to be LiquidBunny. Now I've been really enjoying a lot of Bunny's games lately. I've seen quite a few of them across these several tournaments, and he has been playing very well, so I wanted to cast him. The other reason for casting this game in the top right hand corner is our blue Protoss player. It's going to be MC. You know him as the boss toss, the man with the smack talk. And let's be honest, everyone loves MC. He can be ridiculous on stage and off, and for so many reasons, always good to cast an MC game. So we'll see what MC has in store for us. Always loves to be aggressive, get those blink stalkers, but not averse to trying just about any sort of silly Protoss shenanigan. And we'll see how he decides to mix it up here on Overgrowth. If we take a look at our Terran player, we can see that he has got his first gas up, barracks almost completed, so going to be going for the quite standard Reaper opening here. Always good to get that scout off. Need to know what your Protoss player is opening, as there are a number of different styles of all in that frankly, if you don't scout, you can just die straight out to. So going to want to be seeing if there's some sort of Oracle play on the way. Going to want to know if our Protoss player goes up to 5 or 6 gates quite quickly for some sort of blink stalker all in. As you can see from MC, he has got 2 gas geysers mining, 2 in each geyser. That's not too obscene an amount of gas at this point. Most Protoss players will either go for 2 in each geyser, or they'll go for 3 in one and take that second just a touch later. Nothing hugely untoward here. An SCV scout from Bunny. Going to be checking for any shenanigans that might be going on. For those of you who are wondering what this SCV is looking for, it's looking for things like the second pylon. The second pylon will really throw a Terran player off if he scouts and can't find that. Generally indicative that a Stargate proxy or something will be out on the map. Of course, having seen that second pylon, Bunny will be feeling a little bit safer, particularly with this Nexus going down here. His Reaper's going to make its way into the mineral line here. Not expecting to get a lot of damage done. Occasionally you get a probe kill. It looks like this Reaper may even manage to hunt down the probe. He does pick that off. Nice little steal for Bunny there. Mothership Core going to be chasing the Reaper out. Reaper, luckily for the nerf that happened some time ago, can't do a whole lot of damage to buildings, but certainly will be able to harass and drive those workers just a little bit crazy. So nice micro, normally keeps most of them alive. Great work from Bunny to be able to pick one of those off. Probably partially the fault of the Mothership Core, slightly later than you'd normally expect. Traditionally you have a Zealot or Stalker out, or at least the Mothership Core to try and drive it away. But nice pickup for Bunny anyway, able to get that first Reaper. Stargate is actually going up behind the mineral line. Not MC's most common opening. Often Twilight's the tech choice for MC, and in fact this Reaper is going to get a great scout off as he streaks straight past that Stargate. You'll often see Protoss players doing elaborate SimCity style design. Unfortunately for the Reaper, nowhere to go there. The special feature of Overgrowth is this exceptionally long dead space that lines the bottom of each of these bases, stops things like large blink stalker plays early on, also stops that Reaper from getting out. So we'll pay for that scouting intel with its life. We see the Oracle moving out now, but plenty of Marines already on the line for Bunny. Another supply depot going to go up there, ensure he's not supply blocked. We do have a missile turret in the natural expansion. It's going to be a little bit difficult for MC to get work done with this Oracle. Plenty of Marines in the main base, though that that pulsar beam does kill units just so very quickly. We'll see if MC is able to make something work with the Oracle. He does spot that missile turret, so gonna go for a bit of a poke in the main base. May actually fly a bit too close to that bunker and get a little bit of a warning volley from those Marines. Plenty of Marines here in the main base. If MC isn't careful, could go down, but MC not one to miss micro, particularly when he's focused so intently on the unit itself. So this Oracle just going to get a great scout up, not actually able to do a whole lot of damage as of yet. Though we see MC is throwing down his expansion quite quickly. Already got 3 Stalkers in the way. Oracle's going to be making its way down the left-hand side of this map. Missile turret going to go up so that these Marines are free to move out. Bunny at the moment using those to drive away the Oracle. Of course, once the missile turret's up, it does allow for some added flexibility. Robotics are actually coming up quite quickly behind this Stargate. It looks like MC not going to commit to this Stargate play beyond the original Oracle. Wanted to get something done with it, unfortunately unable to do so. It's not wholly a terrible thing. Obviously, if you invest the money in the Stargate and then in the Oracle, you like to get a few of those juicy drone kills, but the thing is, MC hasn't actually lost the Oracle yet. If this was to die without doing any work, then it would be something to worry about, but MC can get a free kill here, delay that Stargate. It's always going to be very annoying for Terran players. Certainly going to want those medevacs out as quickly as he can. MC going to delay that Stargate yet again. Another worker will go down there. Third worker required to finish up, and is going to delay that Stargate an extra 20 or 30 seconds. So nice little pick up there, though. We have a massive diamond of Marines. I would say phalanx, except it's a diamond shape. So we have a massive diamond of Marines moving out here. Big stim into this natural. There are plenty of units here to agree. The force field's actually going to keep these units largely in place. Nice time warp going down. A lot of these Marines will actually fall. Few of MC's sentries were picked off, and the Marines actually going to stim back in and potentially pick up the Oracle. Indeed they do. So almost worthwhile trade there. If we check out the units lost, the units lost tab tells us it was exactly worthwhile, particularly for Bunny to remove some of those high cost units. Things like the Oracle sentries do cost a lot of gas. You certainly don't want to be losing those for a straight Marine swap. Terran players will trade mineral only units all day long. Protoss players very reliant on those gas units. Do the DPS, particularly to the very cheap bio forces. You need things like your Colossi and your High Templars with Storm, and given that MC doesn't have any High Templars, it's going to be wholly reliant on these Colossus to deal the damage that he needs to get done. We have +1 armor is on the way. Just checking if that +1 weapon has actually already finished up. So the armor now on the way. I imagine we'll be seeing an armory and an engineering bay. In fact, there they are, ready for those 2-2 to start up once this armor upgrade completes. The first of the Marauders making their way onto the field. Medevac's also in play now, and we have a potential for a drop going here. Unfortunately, MC well in place with these Stalkers. You actually focus that Medevac down, does die with a Marauder, and so great pickup for MC here. These Marines more or less going to get cleaned up by those Colossus. A bold Marine unfortunately getting cut in half by that Thermal Lance. Is it the extended Thermal Lance? No, not yet. That upgrade still hasn't been researched. MC instead choosing to put out a second Colossus quite quickly. So we have seen this from time to time. Particularly, it did go through a trend in one of our recent tournaments. Had a lot of Protoss players instead electing to get a third quick Colossus and skip that upgrade completely, in light of the fact that they would often tech switch through the Colossi. They'd grab those Colossus quite quickly and then move on to High Templar. Rather than go for that extended Thermal Lance, they favour the third Colossus just for raw DPS and then tech switch quite swiftly onto High Templar. MC going to be grabbing his ground armor level 2, so there will be a slight weapons edge for Bunny here, as MC is trailing a little bit on that +2. Can of course chrono boost to make it a little bit quicker. That MC very content to go up to a third base here. Hasn't been overly aggressive. We see Bunny's got his own third base established. These Marines and Marauders making their way around could potentially go for some sort of doom drop, but MC, well positioned with a lot of Stalkers here in the main base, is going to say no very quickly to any form of Terran aggression. Just wondering, in fact, the Mothership core was remade. Thought that it did die in that earlier encounter. It is, of course, still on the field. Photon overcharge going to be key in defending against some of these drops. It seems like both our players fairly content after that early burst of aggression to settle in for the long haul. So it seems like we have a bit of a macro game shaping up here. We're going to have Zealot charge on the way as well, so MC rounding out with all those upgrades. A Ghost on the way for Bunny. I love this choice from Bunny. A lot of Terran players are very slow to get out their Ghost deck, often not pulling the Ghosts out until much later in the game, 20-25 minutes plus, as those big Archon Death Balls come out, particularly High Templar. But Bunny just totally ahead of the curve here, deciding he's going to grab those Ghosts well and truly ahead of the High Templars, probably suspecting MC to go for High Templar at some point. We see the Templar archives now coming down. We see the first Ghost already on the field. No Cloak, unfortunately, but things like EMP going to be very effective. Protoss Army very reliant on their shields. I've noticed in a lot of the games that I play, frequently quick EMPs certainly mess with Protoss players. They really expect their army to be quite durable at this stage, particularly pre 3-3 upgrades on the bio. They expect them to do to be out, the Zealots particularly tank a lot of damage, but these Ghosts able to move straight. They have big EMPs on the midst of this army, and we see those Colossus just evaporate almost instantly. Vikings able to take out the second Colossus very quick. Vikings now forced to land at the remainder of the Protoss Army, actually doing quite a lot of damage on the ground. Nice stutter stepping from Bunny, actually going to keep a lot of these force alive. We have the naked Stalkers without their shields, going to be beating a bit of a retreat. Unfortunately, Bunny's not going to be able to fight uphill through that time warp, but this Protoss Army needs its DPS back. Stalkers alone aren't going to cut it against this bio force. We have High Templars now hitting the field. We have +3 armor just starting up, +2 weapons just concluding. +3 is on the way for Bunny, along with vehicle weapons level 1. So going to be a little bit of a buff for those Vikings, but that gives you just an indication of how dangerous those EMPs can be. That first Colossus that was EMP just died almost instantly to the Viking volleys. So got to be super careful, particularly when a Protoss player is so reliant. We see a second force of biostimming here. These Stalkers is going to get annihilated by these Marauders. 2-2 Marauders just do so much damage even to the gateway. These Marines could potentially pick off the mothership core. Photon overcharge isn't going to matter as all, as the Nexus just dies so quickly. The remainder of these units will get cleaned up, but unfortunately MC's left in the unenviable position. He needs to base trade now. Got to cut down this income for Bunny. Bunny's established a new 4th base, but the real question for Bunny is, will he be able to hold his natural or 3rd? We have the Protoss Army barreling across the field, 160 supply to 140. Bunny managed to snipe that base. The income for MC has dropped substantially. Unfortunately for Bunny, his Protoss Army is looking particularly scary. Archons and Immortals making their way across the field. We actually have a planetary fortress building here, but 5 Immortals are just going to blast that to pieces. Just going to be able to do so much damage. A stack of Zealots here to tank damage. As Terran Army really needs to make something happen on this ramp. EMPs are going to be able to blanket this whole force, and we see the Zealots charging forward. Lots of EMPs on these Zealots, and Archons could potentially pick those Archons off very quickly. We have SCVs being pulled off the line, but will it be too little, too late? More SCVs being pulled from the natural. We have Bunny trying to kite back against these units. Unfortunately, there's just so much Protoss Army here. The Ghosts doing their very best to drop these units. We have 2 Archons that are barely surviving. 10 HP. This Archon will get sniped. Bunny's forced to drop back right in his natural. All his SCVs have died. There's very little mining going on for either of our players here. Zealot's tanking just so much damage. Vikings really need to land, add their damage to the fight. This Archon has got 5 kills already. These Immortals just up to a massive 10 kills, 6 kills. So many kills on these Immortals. These Marine Marauders, 3-3 just finishing up now. There's going to be a massive equalizer here for Bunny. He's been fighting against that +3 weapons upgrade from the Protoss player. Protoss players moved into the expansion right as all the mules have dropped. Bunny hugely reliant on this income. We've got the Terran Army stimmed in here. Nice storm on that bio. It looks like MC may just have enough to push this back. It looks like Bunny will tap out, and what a close game. MC finally re-establishing that Nexus up in his natural expansion, but Bunny there almost able to carry the day. So a nice PvT to kick things off here on the channel. There will be a lot more StarCraft action coming up over the next couple of days. Really hoping they release the DreamHack replays along with the Home Story Cup and some of the others. There's a stack of awesome StarCraft, so hope you guys are excited. I'm super excited. If this is your first time on the channel, by all means please subscribe. I'd love to see you here in the future. For all our regular viewers, we appreciate your time. Feel free to throw us some comments down below. If you've got any games you'd like to see cast, let us know, and I'll do my very best to track them down. Hope you guys have a good night. This is Aussie Starcraft. I'll catch you guys in the next cast. Thanks, guys.